Richard Nelson, the translator, and I had an interesting conversation about it on opening night. And something that I think is interesting for all the things that these two do to each other. Again, this is my perspective as the woman whose job it is to play the actress, but I think one of the greatest kinds of violence that can be done to someone in a marriage is to expect them to exist the way they were the day you married them and not allow them to change. And there's something, Molnar's kind of a genius, and the more we uncover this play, the more we see it. While we're in the opera, the Italian, the Puccini that's playing in Madame Butterfly, she's asking him, I hear in your country, you take a butterfly and you stick a pin through her and you keep her on a board. Why would you do that? And he says, to make sure I don't lose her. And they have this whole duet about exactly this phenomenon. And I think, from my perspective, the play starts at a moment where a man married a woman, stuck a pin through her, and said, I have this beautiful thing, and now she's mine, and I'm going to keep her on the board. And she's sitting there flapping her wings, going, get this goddamn pin out of me. And that's an interesting moment between a man and a woman in any relationship, or between a man and a man, or a woman and a woman, between people in any kind of relationship, where jealousy and possession can come into it. And it's that starts the action of everything else in the play. And, you know, this is a conversation that Richard and I were having about, do these two have a future? And, you know, my answer is there's a future as long as that pin comes out. And, you know, we've talked a lot about the end of the play, and the end of the play could be a million things, but it could also be a moment of going, I don't know, maybe you're not what I thought you were, and maybe we can allow each other some room to change and grow, which is a possibility. Or I could be full of poo.
Well, I think that's also something that's sort of wonderful about live theater, that it presents all of these different viewpoints simultaneously. So you might think there's a future in this relationship, and you might not. You know what I mean? And the playwright might have some other idea, and so what? Because that's true in life. I think this, you think that, and but so sort of going off of that though. So you think that they aren't just settled back into the valley of despond that they were in at the beginning, perhaps, but that there might be a future for them. I'm not trying to put words in your mouth, but that's what you just said. That from your viewpoint, you think she might stay with him, that this might...
I think these are two people who saw something different in each other than they saw yesterday.
Yeah, and they've both been through a battle against each other. They've been through a war, you know, and I think that does change you. And sometimes you need to go through the battle to find out who the other person really is, you know. And I think maybe if he's, if he's anything of a healthy person, he, that insidious jealousy that is gnawing away at the relationship he might learn to try to overcome it. But also the Guardsman is trying to reclaim both his masculinity and also the initial spark that was there when they first met, which he feels is decaying after 6 months of being together. That's the thing that he feels that she's over, onto the next one. But even that is out of his own self-loathing and self-doubt, and that's what's gnawing away at it. So the Guardsman is trying to get that back in a way. And it's also a test to see if she'll actually, cheat on him with someone else. I mean, it's crazy.
Yeah.
He's
And
crazy.
you want to see if you can get away with it, which is a part of the
Totally,
play that
and
I
he's an
love.
actor,
But,
and he's egotistical.
I wonder if I could.
There's a build. There's a lot
Well,
to it.
that's something I love. There's the moment in the opera box where you've actually passed the test, and it could just stop. But the artist in you wants to
Can't
keep
stop.
on playing the scene.
Yeah.
And I think that is such a wonderful insight into human beings, but also into theater people, which aren't necessarily human beings.